Welcome to the Y Podcast.
Yes, sir.
This is your host, Young Cornbread.
Yes, sir.
I got my boy, Blake Breeze, here for the first episode.
Yes, sir.
What's going on, man?
Doing good, man. How you doing?
I'm chilling, man.
I'm glad you brought me out here today, man, because I love doing interviews, man. I love it. And I know this podcast is about to be very tough. Me and Andrew are great homies from back to school. What was that, like 3 years ago?
4 years ago,
Yeah, it's been a minute. So you've been working on this for a minute, man.
Yes, sir.
So I'm excited to be the first person on this podcast.
Yeah, man. I told you last year, I was like, yo, you got to be the first episode because, just the moves that you were making in the music
Facts.
that, you was putting out at that time, I was
Right.
like, yo, this is slapping.
I appreciate it, man.
And at that time, you didn't even have your full length project out.
Not at all.
Yeah.
Not even thought of at that time, really.
All right.
Yes, sir.
So we're gonna get into the music, man. So
Let's do it.
who is Blake Breeze, man, and how did you get started in your music career?
Blake Breeze is no different than like who I am on a regular day to day. But my name actually came from Twitter. Back in high school, like Twitter was super popular. Like back in like my freshman year of high school, and everybody had a cool Twitter name. And I used to get like roasted and like get just made fun of because I just picked some terrible Twitter names by my friends. So I was like, dang, I gotta come up with a cool name. So I ended up just being Blake Breeze because I thought names that have like the same letter for the first and last name always sound cool. So that's actually how I came up with that name. But then when I started making music, it was really just my brother had gave me his old laptop.
Okay.
They had Fruity Loops on there, and I had no idea what I was doing. Like I made a beat, I had like 2 beats saved on there at first, and they weren't like timed up. They weren't on sync or anything. Like it was just all over the place. It was dope though. It was fun. But I kind of did that for a couple of years, starting like freshman year of high school, and then I started to get serious more into my senior year of high school.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like starting out, you was probably like what, 14 or 15?
Starting out, I would be 14. Yeah.
Okay.
Going into freshman year. It was really like over the summer going into freshman year of high school. I was 14. Got my brother's laptop and I was just working on there for a minute. I wasn't like doing it like every day on like a serious thing. I'll just be on there like from time to time trying to figure out, because he used to make music back in high school, and he used to work with one of the people that me and my brother went to the same high school.
Okay.
He's way older than me, but we still went to the same school. And when he went to my school, he actually went with Silky Johnson, who had produced a song for A$AP Rocky off like the A$AP Mob first mixtape, and he had made a song for The Weeknd on The Weeknd's first album.
Wow.
Yeah, and it was funny because my brother used to like work with him because they were in class together, and he used to make music on his beats. And that's like I just used to see him making music when I was a little bit younger.
Right.
And that's kind of like where that part got started from, is me producing.
Yeah, you said that was like the spark of it all.
Yeah, for sure. And then just like listening to music like with in the car with my parents growing up, listening to the radio stations in Atlanta, all the old school R&B and stuff like that.
Atlanta is definitely one of those cities that's known for its hip hop scene, just the music scene in general.
It is.
I mean, you have so many legends that come from the ATL.
That's
you could
a fact.
think of T.I.
I was just about to say that because I didn't realize until it was funny. Sophomore year of college, I was doing we was just freestyling like in my room with some friends.
Right.
And I had done a freestyle. I'd never forget this because I just was like doing the acapella or whatever. Yeah. And I had said like 5 or 6 references of like all T.I. songs. And nobody knew what I was talking about.
Yeah.
Like nobody knew at all. And I was talking about 24's, ASAP, just like a whole like off the first 2 T.I. albums. I can't remember all the songs. And like nobody like got it. It was funny.
Cause that was the shit. I remember back in cause I remember when T.I. first came out. T.I. came out in like 2001. So at that time I was probably like 5.
Yeah.
5 years old. And he dropped I'm Serious.
Facts.
But the album that really got me to like be on tip was Trap Music. Which came out in 2003.
My brother had that on CD, and he gave me that CD. I actually was listening to that over the summer recently, like just going back and like listening.
That shit
to
is
all
good.
It's crazy, bro. That's like a classic like Southern album. It's a classic trap album. Yeah. I think T.I. definitely was the one who invented trap music for sure. T.I. and then Gucci and Young Jeezy. But I think T.I. was the one who like really started that because he was doing trap music like in 2001, 2002 that time. Like I know Ludacris was making stuff, but it wasn't like trap. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that was really T.I.'s like he created that.
Word.
Nobody knows about that. It's crazy. People need to go check out T.I.'s old music because it's actually some good songs. Some good, like his first 3 albums are really tough. I love those albums. Yeah.
And he has the trap museum as well too.
Yeah, in fact, I haven't even been able to go there yet, which is funny because I feel like that's like like how people who live in New York don't go to like the Empire State Building or like the World Trade Center.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like I haven't been to the trap museum before, so it's funny.
Yeah, you gotta check it out, man. We gonna make a trip down there.
Nah, that's a fact.
Yeah.
Nah, when you come down, we definitely gotta go.
For sure.
That's a fact.
So you know, speaking of Atlanta and you being from there, like what was it like growing up for you? You know, in down south and in Georgia and in Atlanta, like what was that like?
I never realized, like I said earlier, just like even talking about T.I., like how different it was being in the South, like how important it was until I like came up here to New York.
Damn.
You know
and
what I mean?
That was in what year did you come up to New York?
2017.
Okay.
I've been raised in Georgia for like all my life, so
Word.
it was different because like growing up there, like it's just normal. You know what I mean? To be listening to Usher and Ludacris and T.I. and Young Jeezy and Outkast on the radio, even though like it was probably playing everywhere, you know what I mean? But like more in Atlanta, like they're gonna be playing that all the time, listening to dang, who did I just miss? Listening to Usher, listening to Lil Jon, you know what I'm saying? Like people like that. So coming up here and then realizing like how important it was, because you know people, you know you hang out with friends. People on the speaker playing music and people are playing all these same artists that I listened to growing up, and then you know they realize how like iconic those people were too. I'm like, dang, like I was really, you know, like I was really like raised in this place, you know. And then also on top of that, on top of the music, like growing up during when Michael Vick was around.
Yeah,
you know, like, that was my favorite. That was like my hero before I even got into music was Michael Vick. Like I remember in kindergarten and first grade, all elementary school, we used to have to like write stories. Just like make up like narrative stories in class, and I always used to make mine about football, and I always used to have like I used to draw myself with braids and dreads because of like Michael Vick and like Ricky Williams and stuff like that. My mom used to get mad. My mom used to get like tight because she was like, "Yo, you keep writing these stories about being like a quarterback, like you gotta switch it up." But it's funny. But I think being raised in the South has a lot to do with my music because I talk about it all the time. It may not be directly me saying from the South, but even just like eating wings, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's my favorite food. And that's a Georgia thing, Atlanta thing, whatever you want to call it. That's I could eat a 10-piece wings any time of the week. You know what I'm saying? Sweet tea, that's a big thing. And I didn't know this until literally I've been talking about this for like the whole like past 2 months because none of my friends up here told me that I had like somewhat of an accent. I guess like a southern accent. And I never picked that up before. Like I never knew, and it's just funny to me because like you know you're not gonna hear that being in Georgia because you're just around the same people all the time.
Exactly.
Which is pretty funny. But yeah, I think it's dope though. It definitely has a lot of influence music wise, for sure. Just because of people like Outkast. I'm trying to think of who else that I really listen to from Atlanta. I think Ludacris. Definitely has like a lot of inspiration in my music just because like his older songs, he has a lot of dope flows and he raps on similar tempos that I make my music to. You know what I'm saying? And just South in general, because like Rick Ross, you know what I'm saying? He's from Miami, so he's gonna get played a lot on Atlanta radio too. That's true. And Rick Ross is one of my favorite rappers of all time too. So
Rick Ross has a dope book out.
Really?
Yeah,
I didn't even know he had a book.
Yeah, it's called Hurricanes. And,
that's dope.
I read it like last year.
Really?
Yeah, and he was pretty much just talking about like Miami culture, like what it was like to grow up there, like his whole family structure and stuff like that. It's an interesting book.
I gotta read that.
For like people that want to be entrepreneurs, I would suggest reading the Hurricanes joint.
Because I read the Wu-Tang book. I've read Jay-Z's. The Wu-Tang book is good. You should check that out. RZA is very, very, very smart, bro. Like he's very smart. And the things that he always has like some type of philosophy, but behind the actions that he does, like as far as business. It's a good book. You would love that book.
Damn.
That sounds cool. You should check it out, bro. It's dope.
Word.
I read The Wu-Tang book, I haven't finished Jay-Z's book yet.
Okay, I got that one. My mom got that.
My mom got me, Kanye's mom wrote a book about raising Kanye. And I haven't finished that because I was reading the Jay-Z book and I was going to read that one. But she gave that to me. I haven't read that. But I got to add the Rick Ross one. Because that nigga Rick Ross, bro, that nigga Rick Ross is really like one of my favorite rappers ever.
Damn.
He's inspired like a lot of like things that I do in my music like that. I could like if you play, especially on the One Love, like the project, a lot of stuff in there is definitely from Rick Ross. Like certain things that I did with my voice and stuff like that.
Okay.
Yeah, for sure.
Wow, I wouldn't even have noticed because last time I know when we met up for the interview back in Rucker Park, we did that in February.
Right.
Like I think like the first day. So that was the last time we seen each other before this whole pandemic shit.
That's a fact.
But I remember you know, we was just talking about in that interview, which I don't know if I'm gonna release the whole interview for that yet.
Okay.
But you was talking about how like DMX, and Jay-Z,
and Mace,
yeah, those were like the three people that you were talking about. So
right.
Rick Ross too. Yeah. I mean, I was like, damn, like you saying Ross, but I could hear it like
Rick Ross is
as
like,
far as the lyricism and whatnot.
He's like underlined like always. You know what I'm saying? It's just like he's always just gonna have something that I took or I learned from him that I use in my songs.
Okay.
So it's not even like Jay-Z, Mace, and DMX. Definitely like I wouldn't have made that project if I didn't hear like just stumbling across their music for that certain period of time.
Right.
Listening to Mace especially because I mean obviously Jay-Z we already knew. You know everybody.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? But Rick Ross is just always like underlying like things that I do in my music, underlying themes, like certain way that in the way that I say my words, or the last word of my bar I might say it 3 times on different tracks. Like I'm saying it like it's me saying it 3 times. Deep voice, like high, like you know what I'm saying, just like stacking the vocals. Okay. I get a lot of Rick Ross does that a ton. Okay. Just a lot of things that he does. I feel like that's always been in my music. To be honest, like he's always just had like an underlying thing. Cause my brother, that was his favorite rapper. I don't know if it still is. Okay. So I used to just listen to him all the time growing up. Like you know what I mean. So that's what I used to hear all the time.
Word. So going back to 2017, man, you came up to St. John's.
Yes, sir.
And you know, St. John's is definitely like a school that's good for making connections and stuff.
It is.
You know, with it being in New York and whatnot.
Right.
So what was it like coming up here, you know, to the Big Apple, man?
It was fun, man. It is fun. My mom asked me all the time, and she was like, "Okay, like, what is this school good for? Like, what are you doing?" And you know how mom, like, no matter what, she's gonna have to ask me that question.
Yeah, she's gonna run down on you.
And like, obviously, like the school, like St. John's is a good school. I'm glad I went to New York for sure. And like, you know, everybody has problems with their colleges and stuff like that, but like that's how it is with every school.
Facts.
You know what I mean? Certain professors and things like that. But the people at St. John's I think are really, really cool, man. Like they're really dope, and I'm glad that I met a lot of my friends there because they're really supportive, one, and like you said, it's about making connections. Like everybody's doing something, you know what I mean?
For real.
I got friends that are serious about doing fashion. I got friends that are serious about being in business that have already started like working for, I guess, I don't even know like how to like talk about the brand, but you know like high name companies already, you know, just coming straight out of college, you know what I mean, for business, and already having like they have a 9-to-5 job set up for them as soon as they get out. That's what they want to do, you know what I'm saying? So like I have friends who are doing that in grad school. So I think it's good for everything coming up to, I think St. John's specifically, coming to New York specifically, because the people that I've met at St. John's it's been crazy, man.
Yeah,
it's been crazy. Like, I've been meeting a lot of people who are serious about like what they want to do, and I think that's great, no matter like what it is. In the first year I came up, I didn't like it though.
You didn't like New York?
Nah.
Okay, explain why.
The weather was crazy. I usually like cold. I don't have a problem with cold weather usually, but like the 2017/18 winter, that was nuts. Like that was crazy. That was the coldest winter. It hasn't been that cold since I've been back.
Wow.
And it was a wild time. But I don't know. I just had to get used to it like it was new. And also, I think it was just because I just didn't know what I was doing up here in New York. You know what I mean? I was just so used to being at home in Georgia where I could drive around all the time.
Exactly. I was just about to say that you could be in the car.
Right, be in the car, and then like coming here, like I have my car up here now, and like you could drive 2 miles and it takes like 15 minutes to get somewhere, but like 2 miles back home is like 8 minutes. You know what I'm saying?
Facts.
So like it's just completely different.
Facts.
But I didn't like New York at first, man. I wanted to come back to Georgia. But I ended up loving it, man, because the people, like I said, the people here are great. Like, they're really supportive. It's like a whole different family up here than from the friends that I have back home.
Facts.
You know what I mean? And like I said, I really like it because people are really serious about what they're doing in terms of, like, what they want to do as a career, whether it is fashion, whether it's music, whether they actually want to go into business. Like, even my roommate, he's interning for Goldman Sachs right now. You know, and that's crazy to me because that's a huge business company, and he's already, you know, he hasn't even graduated yet, and he has that set up for him.
Word.
So that's inspiring to me because, okay, he's doing that, so I need to get on the same level that I need to be in as far as music goes.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? And then like going to the fashion around here, going down to Pharrell's store, like Billionaire Boys Club. I love that store. Like, I would say there if I could go there every weekend I could, but I'm usually there every like 2 weeks in that store just because like Pharrell's a genius, man.
Yeah, he is.
You know what I'm saying? But there's a whole there's like the whole fashion is up here is different. I definitely noticed that I started to, I wouldn't even say like, I guess dress better, but I definitely got more interested in like in fashion since I've been up here. But yeah, New York is great, man. I'm glad that I came up here because if I stayed in Georgia, I don't even know. Like, it would just be a whole different story.
It would be. It honestly would be. And that's not even to say a bad thing. It's just that any decision that you make, if you didn't make that decision,
right,
then the course of your life could have been completely different.
I have no idea what would happen if I would have stayed. I have no idea, man. Because I love New York.
I love it here too.
Yeah, the people at St. John's are really great, man. You know, especially the people at the radio. Everybody is supportive up here, and I think it's really dope.
Word.
So I love it up here, man. I do.
And the great thing about being up here in St. John's and New York City, the whole culture is you can meet some niggas from like Guyana, but then you can also meet somebody from like Milwaukee, and they're all just having the same conversation. They're just like
on the same page or everything, and they just happen to be from across the country or
the world.
Yeah, or the world. Yeah, I definitely met one of my. I haven't really talked to him in a minute, but one of my good friends, like earlier in college, we're still cool, but he was from Nigeria, I'm pretty sure. And he was like a boarding student, and then, you know, he's on the same, like, they know the same things that we do.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like you're saying, having the same conversation, talking about the same pop culture,
right, or
any like current issues or anything like that. And it's just crazy to like meet people from there. A ton of people from Ethiopia, from St. John's as well.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I think that's dope too. People all over, man. St. John's has definitely like been, coming to New York in general has definitely been a good experience so far.
For sure, man. I definitely say, because I was doing some research on Queens, New York.
Yeah. And
one thing, there was a few facts that I found that was pretty interesting there, and it talks to the diversity there, which pretty much, that's the most diverse urban area in the world.
Right.
So it's like you're meeting people from all over the world, and that's why you're able to build those strong connections. Because if you look at the census or the demographics for Queens, is literally, with every race is literally like 20%, 20%.
Really?
20, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you can tell because it's just like, I don't know, man. Like, I don't know. Being back where I live in Georgia, it's either, I mean, there's a ton of white people where I'm from in Georgia, and then there's black people, and then a couple of Spanish, like Indian people. But up here, it's like everybody's literally, it's like the same amount of people everywhere you go. You know what I'm saying? I see, like, everybody has their own neighborhoods and stuff like that too. But like right in Queens where I live, like you walk on the street, you're gonna see people of every race, like within the first 10 minutes, and you just walk into, go to pizza, whatever, go to Regina's. Shout out Regina's.
That's a big fact.
Better than Vincenzo's.
Oh,
around St.
Wait,
John's.
Vincenzo's is the one, for the people that don't know, these are like pizza shops near St. John's, but Vincenzo's is the one by, it's like next to the 7-Eleven.
Yes.
Alright.
Yeah.
And the other one, what's the other one's name again? Regina's.
Across from Cold Stone and TJ Maxx.
Okay, I could attest to that. Yeah, Regina's is that spot.
Yeah. If Regina's was closer to the school, people would be saying that, but it's a little bit of a walk. So I feel like that's why they don't. But Regina's is way better than Vincenzo's.
Yeah.
Shout out to Regina's, man.
Word. Shout out to them. Yeah, man. It's just dope being here in New York.
It is.
One thing too that I also wanted to say about Queens is that it's also one of the only county in America. The only I think it's like the only like major county in America where blacks make more than whites on average.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. I
Yeah.
never heard of that before.
Yeah, I saw that on Wikipedia. I don't know now. I don't know if that's still the same because that was during like the 2010 census. So they update it every 10 years. But
wow,
that's the last time that I was looking at the
never,
Wikipedia page. Yeah.
In Queens County.
Yeah, bro.
That's dope.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, man. I enjoy living in Queens too. Versus, I guess, going to NYU just because I feel like being in the city all the time, I probably wouldn't enjoy it as much. You know, I'd probably look at it differently versus me being able to live in Queens and then I go out there during the weekends or like, whenever like, you gotta plan that kind of to out instead of just me waking up and then walking downstairs, I'm already on, 14th Street. You know what I'm saying? Down near NYU or wherever they go to school. I don't know what specific area. But that's what I enjoy being like living in Queens that I don't have to I get to go out to the city and like be surprised by stuff like that. You know what I mean?
Big facts.
Yeah.
Big facts. Now I wanted to ask you, man, because we did that photo shoot back in February and that was for your project, One Love.
Yes, sir.
So tell us like about that whole process of, you putting that project together and that being your like first official debut.
Looking back at it now, I could definitely say that One Love I made that project because I had really just like worked on sampling music for a long time. And that was something that I've been trying to learn forever just because of listening to Kanye and Jay-Z and just, all those rappers growing up, that I needed to learn how to do that. And that's definitely like a part of the reason why I made that project, for sure, because I finally taught myself how to do that. And I'm pretty sure all those beats were produced by me on there too. I don't remember if I had any of my friends help me out with those. But I think those are all self-produced, sampling. And it was really just like me going into, I guess, I feel like I make 3 types of music.
Okay.
Explain,
man.
Okay. I feel like the sampling music is one half, and like, I'm obviously inspired by old school music. I love old school music, like as far as old school rap, 90s rap, and early 2000s rap. 90s R&B is my favorite genre for sure. Old school R&B is my favorite genre for sure. I love let's see, Gap Band, that Gap Band album. It's like the first one. It's only like 7 songs in there. I love that album. That New Edition album, we talked about that in February.
Yo, yeah. Shout out to New Edition.
New Edition.
They're from Boston.
Yeah,
I'm from Boston.
The first New Edition album is one of my favorites.
Facts.
But those are like my favorite genres. So I think one half, or one of the 3 types of music that I make is based on the old school like rapping and just hearing soul samples. Just hearing sampling in general and just, I guess similar to boom bap, but really like Kanye and Jay-Z type of stuff. Okay. And then the second part is more the R&B side, like songs like Gumbo. Right. And that's what I like to make. Like those, like it's hard for me to make that music, which is why I have a few of those songs out, because that's less sampling and that's me trying to figure out like chords to play on the piano or stealing chords from an old R&B song, because that's that's just what it has to come down to sometimes.
Yeah.
And then the third part of the music that I make is definitely inspired by Pharrell, inspired by Tyler. And that's kind of tied with the 90s R&B is my favorite to make, because those are just really dope. Like it's like jazz chords, jazz like sounds on the piano, and then combined with just like I don't know how to explain the drums that Pharrell and Tyler do, and the Neptunes and Tyler do, but they're just real different, And that's like my Stand By, for instance. That's like my 3 types that I noticed that I make, and that One Love is really based on like old school rapping, and that's why a lot of it is like that. Like I said, I was listening to a lot of Jay-Z at that time, in my Lifetime Volume 1. Listening to that Mace debut album, Harlem World, great album. Now, when we were talking about back in February, I found him. I started listening to Mace because I was trying to listen to DMX, and I just never checked him out fully and listened to his projects, because that's what I do. I study music all the time. Like that's really, I'd be like, if it's in my headphones or I'm playing it out loud, I go through whole albums and I just try and like pick up different things throughout. So I was trying to do that with DMX, and I'll never forget this, because I was listening to the album and somehow, some way, after the second song on the album had skipped and went all the way to the last song, I think, or the second to last song, whichever one that Mace is on. And it was weird because I think one of the DMX hits was supposed to come up next, like Rough Riders or something. So I was like,
Rough Riders anthem.
Yeah, Rough Riders anthem was supposed to come up next. So I'm like, okay, like what is this playing? Or maybe it was right after Rough Riders, but whatever.
Okay.
And then the song with Mace came out. I was like, yo, like who is this just like destroying this track? Like it was like his verse was nuts.
Yeah.
His flow is like real effortless, like real laid back and lazy, and he still managed to like kill this, you know, classic New York grimy ass beat. And I was like, nah, this is crazy. So then I had to search up. I knew who Mace was, but I didn't know that he was rapping like that. So then I went and checked out his whole album, and then I was like, nah, I need to make. And that's just when like the whole project really started like coming together. There's a few songs on there that didn't make the finished version that were more inspired by Mace.
Okay.
But like out of Mace, Jay-Z, and listening to DMX, because he was on some of those Jay-Z songs and Volume, I think in my lifetime, Volume 2, like Cash Money Hoes, I think. Yeah, I think he was on that song. But like that really made me want to make that project, and it was dope, man. Definitely, just me being me, I was like, damn, I wish I could have done this and this, you know what I'm saying, on the project, and try to make it better, you know what I mean, just like trying to critique myself, and maybe like, I really couldn't even promote it the way I wanted it to because of Corona, because it literally came out like a month, like 3 weeks before the whole pandemic really started. I wanted to do a whole bunch of music videos and stuff like that. But I'm glad I did the project because it was cool to like be able to just pick. It was cool to be able to hear what I listen to all the time, like hear people make albums and stuff like that, and then put together a project of my own and like have an intro and have people talking on the intro and like doing that.
Right.
Or even I put my mom, I think it was just my mom, just my mom on the outro, just talking about me, like that was dope. Just being able to do things I hear all the time that other people do, I think that was great to do. So I love that project a lot.
Yeah, man.
Like obviously there's some stuff I wish I could do and things that I wish I could change about it, just from me being a like producer and engineering and doing all that stuff that I do, that I wish I could change. But I think it was a good project, man. I definitely glad I make that, because now everything that I make is it's got to be 10 times better than that.
Man, I think that's saying a lot, because the One Love project, for me personally, that's like top 3 favorite projects.
Really?
This entire, yeah, I'm serious.
Wow.
Like, most of your music, crazy. Bro, I know like the lyrics to most of your songs. You throw some shit on right now, you know, we gonna catch a vibe. But
that's crazy.
Yeah, man, that's really like one of my favorite projects, just because the lyricism, the production. Even the cover art, which I wanted to ask you, like, what was the inspiration behind putting together all those, you know, those old school photos, like that collage?
Just basically, just because it was kind of on that type of. I talked about my family a lot in that tape. If nobody has checked it out yet, or even knew that I had a project, 7 songs, or it's really like 5, and then 2 of them are intros and outros and stuff like that. But I talked about my family a lot, which I do in all my songs. But that was like the whole tape. And just talking about like the goals that I wanted to do and just things like that. And I feel like a lot of the music that I made on that tape, a lot of the production that I did reminded me of my childhood, as far as just like the songs that I used to listen to in the car growing up. All the music that I've been talking about, that I've been inspired by, reminded me of that, of me being a kid, like listening to the Kanye at 6 years old, listening to Jay-Z at 5, 6, you know, like all around that type of, you know, that age group.
Right.
So that's why I got all those pictures on there. And I knew my mom would love it too, because she started listening to my music recently, probably like in the last year or so. Okay. And
Moms is all in. It's like, I seen one tweet that you had put out, and you was like, "Yo, my mom told me I should make a trap song."
Yeah, facts. Like that was funny. Yeah, it's hilarious, bro. Cause my mom like loves my music. My mom loves my music, and then like every like couple weeks she'll call me, and then she'll be like, "You need to stop cussing in your songs. You need to stop doing this." My mom, first of all, like. You're lucky that I even be showing you my music. A lot of these like artists who, and you know, a lot of these artists don't even be showing their parents their music until like until they're actually, you know what I'm saying?
And it's already too late.
So like, I don't even know how that started, to be honest. How she started hearing my music. But it's funny though, yeah, she'll call me and then like she'll call me and she'll be like, yo, like I love all the songs, whatever, and she'll do that most of the time. And then sometimes she'll call me and she'll be like, you need to stop doing this and that, like you need to worry about, on some mom stuff.
Yeah,
you know
but that's real though.
Yeah,
because you honestly you do need people in your corner, whether it's like
For
family
sure.
members, friends, or other
Yeah.
musicians that you work with, people that's
Right.
gonna tell you like, yo, this one ain't it, or
Right.
you should try to do this, and not being so of a yes man, and
Right.
just
No, that's
going
for
with
sure.
whatever you're putting out, and all your shit is fire.
Thank you,
like
man.
it,
I really
so
appreciate that.
the yeses are,
Yeah.
it comes with it because there's fire music, but you always need that perspective of just knowing like, okay, there's somebody in my corner that's not gonna allow
Just
me to
tell
put
me
out,
to do anything.
for
sure.
me to put out some BS or
Yeah, that's
something
a
like
fact.
that.
Yeah, and like she'll
Yeah,
tell
I caught
me.
myself. I didn't want to curse. Just for
No,
your
no,
mom.
you're good. Nah, yeah, she'll
Yeah.
like tell me certain things, like just trying to, I don't know, just like mom wants me to do like some positive stuff or like do
Word.
whatever. And my mom, like, I'm not out here making trap music first of all. You know what I'm saying? I'm not out here talking about like killing niggas and having
Yeah.
guns. Like that's not what I do. So I'm not gonna be
Right.
talking about that. You know what I mean? So it's just funny like hear her call me about that stuff. Like it's ridiculous sometimes though. It's
Yeah.
funny, but I think that now I'm like talking about it, I'm pretty sure that I had to start showing my mom my music and my dad too. My dad loves my music. They both do, which is really dope. Just because like that's the career path that I want to go on, you know what I'm saying, as far as being in the music business.
Right.
And just so like they have an understanding what I'm doing and they know that I'm actually like I put in the work for it, you know what I mean? Yeah, it was funny. Cause my dad is like, he loves my music, but he does not like keep up with anything like pop culture because he just doesn't care. My dad keeps up with sports and like politics, and that's about it. Like anything about Travis Scott and Kylie Jenner and any of that type of stuff, he does not.
It's a dub.
He doesn't care about that shit, bro. My mom follows the Shade Room on Instagram. She follows like 300 people on. She follows everything on Instagram, everything on Twitter, and she calls me and asks me about stuff like.
Oh, that's good, man.
It's hilarious, bro. I can't remember what happened recently. Some pop culture happened, and she asked me about it. I was like, "What do you know about this? Like why are why are you keeping up with this type of stuff?" But she called me the other day. She's like, "Yo, you need to come out with a trap song." I was like, "What?"
Yeah.
So what are you talking about? Like, what do you know about trap music? Like, call me. That was crazy. Like, they had me weak, bro, because I was too funny, bro. She called me, telling me you need to come out with a trap song, like something for like people my age or something like that. I was like, all right, I appreciate it, mom. Like, it was funny though, because I actually made something similar to a trap song, and she just happened to call me about that. But I was like, all right, like, you just need to. It's funny, bro, because just the way that she be calling me and be telling me stuff, and it's just like, all right, I appreciate it. You know what I'm saying? But like, she just don't be knowing sometimes. Just being a mom. And she wants me to be super successful, so she'll call me and be like, "Yo, you need to make a song that's gonna do good on TikTok and stuff like that." And I just be like, "All right, like, I appreciate it." You know what I'm saying? It's just funny though. It's funny how she be doing that. But yeah, she's definitely into my music a lot. Like I said, my family comes in there a lot, and definitely my brother for sure. He, like I said, he used to make music. So sometimes, I'll send him some stuff before I put it out, or he'll tell me what I need to do, or he'll tell me like, "Yo, you need to be like Rick Ross on this song and use the end of your verses and your lines, and you need to double those up. You need to stack those vocals, or you need to do alliteration because Rick Ross uses a lot of alliteration." I can't remember the other thing I cannot remember that literary term. It's not alliteration. I think it's called assonance. I think that's using the same.
I have no idea what that is.
I know alliteration is using the same letters every time.
Right.
Like Rick Ross talks about popping bottles in the penthouse, using P's the whole time. But he also uses assonance, I'm pretty sure. And that's using like the same sounding words over and over again. That doesn't necessarily have to have the same letter, I'm pretty sure. And he does that a lot, and ASAP Rocky does that a lot too.
Okay.
But that'll be some things that my brother will tell me to do. And like just like having people like my family is like really involved with my music. And going back to why I put them on the cover and why I talk about them so much is because I talk to them all the time. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, man, that's where my family comes in terms of that tape specifically, and just in my music in general.
Word. Now,
Yeah.
what's some of your like family's musical influences? Because you did mention that you grew up like listening to what your parents were listening to. So were they bumping the New Edition and things like that?
Whatever happened to be on the radio, yeah. Because back then it was just like radio. I feel like the radio now just like really sucks, bro. Like they really play the same stuff over and over and over
That's
and
true.
over again. It is crazy.
That's true.
Like it is terrible. So like growing up, like being 5 and 6, whatever, just younger, being in the car, they didn't used to play the same songs over and over again on the radio.
Nah,
So
they
it was
didn't.
actually,
Radio was better back
yeah,
then.
it used to be like having an actual aux cord, like
Right.
you know what I'm saying. So they used to play the same 2 stations all the time, and it used to be, I guess New Edition was probably on there,
Okay.
but Charlie Wilson, of course, the Gap Band is gonna be on there. All Janet Jackson songs. Luther, my parents love Luther Vandross. My mom loves Mary J. Blige. My dad listens to a lot of. My dad likes a lot of like upbeat, like the funk music. So if they're playing like George Clinton on the radio, Funkadelic, you know what I'm saying? Flashlight, Knee Deep, any Parliament type of songs like that.
Okay.
Like that used to be on the radio a lot. Like I can't believe that they really just don't play those type of songs anymore. Kim, they love Kim. So that's the bars too. I'm just like remembering all the things that are on my playlist now that I'll be listening to. But yeah, so that's what my parents used to listen to, all that type of music, and I used to hate it as a kid. You know what I'm saying? Because I used to want to listen to rap. Like I used to want to listen to like Lil Jon and Ludacris, like listening to Snap and listening to T-Pain. Like that's what I wanted to listen to when I was 5 or 6.
Right.
I wasn't trying to hear any of that, but now I love it.
Right.
So that's when I used to be in the car with them, and my brother is 9 years older than me, so I used to be in the car a lot with him too, and that's how I started listening to rap. Started listening to Kanye, started listening to Rick Ross, T.I., Young Dro, Gucci, people like that, and listen. That's how I got on. That's how I got put onto Pharrell and N.E.R.D. was through my brother, cause I've been listening to N.E.R.D. since I was around. In elementary school.
Word.
All their albums, In Search of, Fly or Die, Seeing Sounds, all that type of stuff. So it's been like the R&B and all that stuff is definitely from my parents, and then like rap, anything in that type of rap, hip hop, like that. And my brother listens to a lot of alternative music, and he put me on to a lot of that type of stuff too. So listening to like, this is when I was a little bit older, but bands like Arctic Monkeys. He listens to groups we listen to groups called Capital Cities.
Okay.
I can't think of a lot of them right now just because it's been a minute since I listened to that music. But just like that's really what I listened to growing up, and that definitely like plays a huge part to this day.
Word, man. That's a perfect segue.
Okay.
So we're gonna get into the track that you wanted to play.
Yes, sir.
Because what we're gonna do is Blake's gonna play a song from his catalog, then I'm gonna play a song from his catalog.
Yes, sir.
So you want to introduce the song that you want to play, and then we'll get it queued up.
So we're gonna play "Stand By," and this is what I was talking about earlier, where the type of music that I make that's kind of inspired by Pharrell or the Neptunes, N.E.R.D., Tyler the Creator. As far as just like, really comes down to the chords. I talk about that a lot. Cause that's really, I didn't know what that was until I started making music, and then that's what I realized that I listen to the most out of music is the chords. So it's really based off of them. I love it. That's my favorite song that I made so far. I made that beat in my room, 11, just chilling at night. After playing PS4, I was just bored. I was like, oh, I need to make a song.
Right.
It's been a minute, and definitely inspired by Earthquake a lot, and Igor in general. That Tyler the Creator album in general. We could definitely we could talk about some albums too. We need to talk about that. We've been talking about artists. We need to talk about some of my favorite albums because I don't talk about that in depth with anybody. But yeah, Stand By. Yeah, favorite song that I made so far, produced by me. Facts.
All right, here we go.
For me, is you tryna keep me company? Yeah, I could really care, my hands tied. Knowing how I feel, I'll be on standby. I think you the one for me. Is you tryna keep me company? Yeah, I could really care, my hands tied. really got the worst luck. Cause you ain't show no love, but I'm still stuck. And every time we talk, I know the feeling off. And anytime I press, girl, you peeling off. Do she got another nigga? Probably. That shit done hit me in the chest like she Ali. That's why I'm riding with the tents like a Mabry. That's why I'm solo when you see me at the party. Yeah, I think you the one for me. Is you tryna keep me company? Yeah, I could really care if my hands tied. Knowing how I feel, I'll be on standby. I think you the one for me. Is you tryna keep me company? Yeah, I could really care if my hands tied. Knowing how I feel, I'll be on standby. I've been on my own for some time now, and I see you living straight with your life now. So how you gon' move? What you decide? Is you tryna ride with me? You gon' kill your pride. Cause I ain't got nobody in my space, yeah. And I need you to come and fill the place, yeah. I don't wanna press, but I can't wait. There ain't no arguments, there ain't no debate. I think you the one for me. Is you tryna keep me company? Yeah, I could really care if my hands tied. Knowing how I feel, I'll be on standby. I think you the one for me. Is you tryna keep me company? Yeah, I could really care if my hands tied. Knowing how I feel, I'll be on standby.
Man,
Yo.
I love that song, bro.
Yeah, man. So that was Standby.
Facts.
Yeah, man. That's definitely one of my favorites, and I could hear the the Pharrell influence.
Yeah, for sure.
And you're working. Are you working on a music video?
I am. Yeah,
I think I did see that with you and
Quentin.
Ah.
Shout out to Quentin Levon, man. That guy's a legend.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So I drew out. It's not good. I just like stick people and shit like that of what I wanted to do for the video. So I'm trying to get that taken care of. It's kind of hard though because it's just like I got friends that I want to be in the video,
right?
And people got class, people got other things to do, so I got to get them on the same schedule as me. But
and
the video's
it's
a lot of going on. You know what I mean? So I got to make sure they're on the same schedule as me. But that video's gonna be crazy.
Word, man.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see it, man. I think y'all should definitely keep working together, man. You and
Quentin is he's the greatest, man, and he's just like, it's dope to see somebody that I know, like really somebody that I can work with who is really into, I guess like their creative field, because then it kind of reminds me of like what I'm doing. You know what I mean? Or how I can see other people looking at me, because like I have friends who are serious into, I guess whatever their passion is, but I never get to like work with them and like see like when they do their thing.
Right.
So when I'm working with Quentin, I have to work hands on because I need to have it be the same way that I want it to do, or the same way I want things to be. Right. But I has to see like the work that he puts in and like things that he picks up, like as far as wearing the right stuff and like wearing the right color clothing in a music video. Just so like when he has to edit the music video, like these type of colors that I'm wearing on my body has to go like along with the sky, and they either got a contrast, you know what I'm saying? Things like that. And I didn't never pick that up until I started working with him, and now I look at music videos differently and like, okay, if we're doing a music video, I gotta make sure that I'm wearing an orange shirt because it's gonna contrast with the blue sky. You know what I'm saying? I gotta do things like that. It's cool to see him, like it's cool to work with somebody hands on like that, to see what it looks like outside in, you know what I mean?
Damn, that's definitely, I'm even learning from that too, because I'm definitely trying to get into, video and stuff like that.
Yeah, I love that. That field is crazy, man. It's dope.
No, he's a beast, man.
Yeah,
he's a beast, man.
It's dope to see, because it's like, everybody can really take pictures and stuff like that. Take pictures and do videos, but it's cool to see somebody who's like actually serious about it and then work with them, you know what I mean? So, yeah, working with Quentin is good, man, but I can't wait. Ooh, I can't wait for that Standby video to come out.
I can't wait either, man.
Ice cream video is going to be dope.
Oh, is that art? Do you already have that done or
No, that's gonna come after. I wrote that.
That's one of my
too.
favorites too.
Yeah,
Yo, I
that's the
heard that. I
Pharrell-
was like,
that's that Pharrell
oh
type stuff.
my
Yeah, bro.
gosh, like
Yeah, man. That's what I think.
that sounds crazy.
I'm really terrible with promoting myself, and it's because I just don't like being on social media for real. Like I really don't like posting pictures a lot because I hate taking pictures. I hate like just. I feel like not even like annoying people necessarily, but I just feel like me pinning a whole bunch of shit on my story is so annoying.
Yeah.
Like I hate when people have like 30 things on their story,
Right.
and then it's like,
It's too much
dang,
clutter.
yeah, like bro, like now I gotta just like tap through the whole joint because now your story is at the top of my Instagram and I can't even swipe away from it. So now I just gotta go through your whole story and it's just a
Yeah.
whole bunch of reposts, and I hate doing that. But it's like I have to now, you know what I
Mhm.
mean? So I'm really bad at promoting myself, like when it comes to that. But that's why I gotta get these music videos done because I feel like that's something that people want to see too. Like people love. I know like the people that love my music, like they love to repost and love to do it. But I know that people who may know about me but who haven't really checked out my music yet, they like to see videos.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I don't have a problem like doing that because I love like showing. I can promote myself and it's something I know I fully put myself into.
Right.
And I know that when it comes to these music videos now, like the way that I've actually like written them out and I have stuff planned for it, like that's something that I was like, okay, yeah, y'all need to see this. Like the music is cool because you get to listen to it, but I know that people like to actually like visualize things. So I was like,
Right.
okay, now I'm really gonna have to promote this when it comes out because that's what people want to see. You know what I mean? And it's gonna be dope. It's gonna be hard. I can't wait to see those videos, man.
Man, I can't wait to see him too, man.
It's gonna be
I'm
great.
definitely excited to see what you got in store
Oh.
on the video side.
For Standby, I had just remembered this. So the whole first verse of that song, I had recorded that at my friend's house,
Okay.
where he lives in Georgia, in Kennesaw. Shout out to Tyler, shout out to Alex, facts. I recorded that first half and I put it on my Instagram and I had nothing else done for it. I was like, dang. I was just getting to a point where I need to put stuff on Instagram. So I would just make hooks and like half of a verse so I could promote it.
Yeah.
So that was that first half of the song finished, and I was still in Georgia at this time. This is like 2 weeks before I came up to New York,
Okay.
or maybe a week or something. It was close. So I didn't come up with the second verse yet. So I come up to New York. I'm setting up my new room and everything like that. I don't have any time to record,
Yeah.
so I couldn't finish the verse then. So then I helped my friend goes to Syracuse. Shout out to Chase. And so I drove up to Syracuse and I helped him set up.
Okay.
So we were just chilling in Syracuse for like 2 days, and I recorded the second verse for Standby on my phone.
Okay.
In my phone, on my iPhone mic instead of my actual mic, because I didn't bring my mic up from New York. So I recorded that second verse on my phone, and I was mixing it, and I left my fucking charger for my computer back in Queens when I was up in Syracuse.
Damn.
And it's an old Mac, like a 2009 Mac. That like it's got the old charger and everything like that, so nobody up there like had that. I couldn't go to Best Buy and get one because it was like $60, and I'm not gonna spend $60 when I'm coming back to New York in like 2 days. But I was just hurt because I didn't have any laptop. So my computer died, right? So then I'm back in Queens now, and I'm like, okay, let me go to an actual studio and get this. Actually, you know what? I kind of messed up that story. I went to the studio first in New York, and I recorded the verse there for the whole second verse on my on the computer, and it was finished. And I come back to my crib in New York, and I don't have any of this, like the vocals that I recorded for the song. Like they just weren't there, and I was pissed because the studio setup was pissing me off. It was weird. I just didn't like what was going on in there. And I was tight, bro. I was like, dang, I wasted that money at that studio. I don't even have the verse that I did. That's when I went up to Syracuse, and that's when I had recorded on my phone, and then my computer died. And then I came back to New York, and then I had to re-record it because it didn't save. That's what happened, because it had died. And then I had to re-record the whole second verse again on my iPhone mic, and I had to like turn off all the fans in my room. It was hot as it was hot. It was hot as shit in there.
Yeah.
And I had to re-record that at like 2 a.m. just doing like, and it takes me a long time to record my verses because I have to make sure they're perfect. And I gotta make sure that they sound like how it sounded like the first time when I recorded it. Even though people might not even pick that shit up, but me listening, it has to be the same.
Right.
So it's like 30 takes of me doing the same second verse on my iPhone.
Yeah.
And I had to mix the verse from my iPhone and make it sound similar to the first verse. So like that whole second verse is recorded from my iPhone mic
That's
instead
crazy.
of an actual professional mic. Yeah.
That's crazy. See, there's no excuses.
There's no
so
excuses,
if you want to
that's
go
a fact.
out and make music, you better
Yeah.
do it, man, because
Yeah.
we're in the technology age.
That's
so
a fact.
there's really no excuse for not being able to do something, because
Right.
if you don't have a camera, I'm sure that one of your bros might have
That's
a
a fact.
camera.
Oh, the iPhone.
Or
You
the
got
iPhone
now. Yeah.
or Android. You know,
Anything.
just anything to just start.
Right.
I think that's the most important thing. A lot of people that are in the creative world that want to, you know, get to that next level, they have a hard time breaking through because they're just like, oh, it got to be like this, it got to be
Yeah.
like that. Which, you know, you do want to have standards for, you know, the quality of your work.
Right.
But at the same time, it's like, you don't want to go through that process so much that it just stunts your creativity.
That's a
to the
fact.
point
That's
to
what
where
I've
it's
been
just like,
having to deal
you
with.
can't make anything.
Deal with recently, just trying to stop holding myself back. In terms of like, dang, I need it to sound perfect or anything like this. Did you listen to the new song that came out last week?
Honey Hot?
Yeah.
Bro, I've been playing that,
Okay.
like, I already know the lyrics to that.
That's hard.
I'm serious. I really do.
That's so dope, man. I love to hear that. And so
Yeah,
I love when people tell me that they listen to my music, man. That really like makes my day for real, because that's really what I put into a lot of work. And you know, like as far as listening to music, you don't always like you don't post like what you listen to all the time. You know what I mean?
Right,
it's
right.
not like, you know, people on their stories, they post what they eat every day, or like they take selfies and shit like that every day. But you don't really post like what you listen to every day. And I don't. And you don't think about that when you don't make music, because then it's just like, okay, like, people love my music, you know what I'm saying, but like, who's like listening for real, you know what I mean? So that's when it's dope when people tell me that, because I'm not going to know specifically who's listening,
Right.
you know, to my music, because it's just like, it's a part of people's day. So like, it's not necessary for me to tell you, it's like, yo, bro, like I was just listening to the whole Brent Fayez album in the car, like it was hard, you know? Like nobody's going to talk about that.
Yeah.
So that's why I think like it's dope when I get to hear that, because people don't talk about what they listen to all the time. It's not like a topic of discussion most of the time. So it's dope to hear people tell me that, man. So I really do appreciate that, man. That means a lot for real when people tell me that.
And one thing that I did want to say about the Honey Hot, because you know we go back to talking about influences, you want to talk about albums and stuff.
Yes.
But yo, I remember this is the back like 3 years ago,
I already know what you're about to talk about.
You
Yeah.
already know where I'm going
Yeah.
with this. But our boy Icy Twat.
Facts.
Yeah, that was like one of the first conversations we was talking about that producer.
Yeah.
Because at that time I was listening to Icy Twat like heavy, like
Yeah, bro.
you know what I'm saying? Just going on I had like little internships in Manhattan at the time, so you know I would be on the train just jamming out to that,
Crazy.
and I'm like, yo, this dude is like he's dope.
Yeah,
and
bro.
then I remember we met in September around that time, in 2017, and then. I think I asked you, I was like, yo, what producers you listen to? And he was like, yo, I listen to Icy Twat. I'm like, what?
Yeah, that was crazy.
Yeah, that dude, he's cold though,
Bro,
for real.
I love, bro. I feel like he makes the trap version of music. Like, he makes trap sounding music of the version of the music that I make when it comes to, like, Stand By, songs like Ice Cream, or just my music in general.
Right.
And he's definitely one of the most, like, people that I'm inspired by when it comes to producing. And it's just out the fact that like my favorite producers is the Neptunes in Thailand. And when I started listening to him, I didn't even know that like that was his favorite type of music at first. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't even know, I think I read that in an article or something that he did, some interview, or he was just doing remixes of like old Tyler songs, stuff like that. I was like, damn, like that's crazy how I just ended up, you know, finding an artist who his favorite artist ended up having to be similar to mine. And I can hear it in his music. You know what I'm saying? It's funny. So if I cop an Icy Twat beat or I'm listening to Icy Twat, some of my friends one of my friends that I really work on with music a lot, shout out to Malik, Mass Jid, very dope. You guys gotta check out his music facts.
Yeah, I heard about your boy too, yeah.
Mass Jid. But I'll play some beats when he's in the car and he'll be like, yo, is this you? I'm like, nah, like this is Icy Twat. You know what I'm saying? But it's similar because Icy Twat has a lot of chords, a lot of piano, like those same type of sounds and synths in his music, and that's what I use in mine. But yeah, man, so Honey Hot, that was me just like, okay, I've been BSing the past couple weeks because I've been trying to either do a certain type of music or I just been, like, we talk about holding ourselves back.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I was like, you know what? I'm just going to rap on a beat that I think is tight. And I'm gonna see what happens. If it's not gonna be my beat, if it's not gonna be shout out Wiz Kelly, if it's not gonna be shout out Holy Rain, one of their 2 beats, I'm gonna go and get an Icy Twat beat because that's the only person that I know I can rap on and have like be comfortable with how the beat sounds. So I got the beat and I made that. I made that first verse at like 1 a.m. Took me like an hour probably to do it because I don't write. I just had to say the same lines over and over and over again until it turns into a whole verse, and that shit takes forever. And I woke up the next morning and I finished the rest of the song. But it was just dope because I just like, there was no certain inspiration behind it, you know what I mean? I was just like an Icy Twat beat, which is it's very similar to mine, like the beats that I like. So it was just easy for me to rap on that, you know what I mean? And that's why I was just talking about like, stop being so perfect all the time and stop trying, you know what I mean? So yeah, that's how it came about.
So I wanted to ask you too about your albums real quick that inspired you.
Yes.
And then we're gonna get to playing one of your songs. I'm gonna play the track that I picked for today's show.
That's a bet.
And then that's off of your
we can talk about that too because there is some like heavily. A lot of my songs are inspired by certain songs.
Okay.
So like Ice Cream, for instance, is inspired by Saturday by Ludacris specifically.
That's crazy. I wouldn't have expected that.
Yeah, you go back and listen to it, you'll hear it like instantly. I think I probably stole one of that nigga's lines in there for sure. Off respect.
Okay.
Sampling lines. But yeah, so a lot of my songs are based off of certain songs. So we'll talk about the one that you want to play after, and then I'll tell you like how I came up with that.
Word.
But albums, man. Favorite album of all time is Yeezus.
Really?
Yes. That's a fact.
Okay.
That is.
I'm gonna have to disagree with you on that.
That is perfectly fine. That is perfectly fine.
I like Yeezus. There's some times where I'm just like, but then other times I'm like, this shit is hot.
Man, I remember when it came out because it had leaked, and I don't usually listen to leaks just off of like respect.
Me neither.
But it was a Kanye album, and I'm 13, so I gotta hear what Kanye's doing, bro. And I'll never forget like listening to that and just hearing like this nigga was just screaming.
Yeah.
And like, you know what I'm saying? Like since like it was a crazy album. And that album is that's literally my favorite album of all time. Like there's no
that's crazy,
like there's been one album that's gonna come up in the next 2 hours I'm talking about that has been like close to that. But it was funny, I was making some food the other day and I was like I need some music to listen to. And like nigga I usually listen to like I listen to like some Jay Dilla or some old school, whatever, Erica, some Jay Dilla, Ninth Wonder, Tribe, shit like that when I'm just like chilling. But I was like, nah, let me throw on some Yeezus while I'm making some food. And it's funny because like, I'll put on Yeezus and I'll have the same feeling of me listening to like 90s R&B. Like,
really?
Yeezus is like a relaxing album to me. It's funny. And that shit is hella aggressive, hella synths. All that album is great, man. Like I'm hearing like the first song in my head right now, that On Sight. And I love that album, bro.
Yeah, man. No, Yeezus there's definitely a lot of tracks on. Yeah. Well, there's not that many tracks, but the tracks on Yeezus are very layered.
Yeah, they are.
And
a lot of sounds,
exactly.
a lot of stuff going on.
A lot.
And that was like the first album that really caught my attention because I'm like 13, you know what I'm saying? So I'm kind of getting into music a little bit more. I started listening to more Tyler. I used to hate Tyler, the Creator, by the way. Because my brother didn't like him because he thought he was annoying and shit like that. But now he's like, you know, my favorite artist for real. But then I was just like, damn, I started listening to music more, and I grew up on Kanye, I grew up on Jay-Z, so they dropped Watch the Throne, which was cool before, obviously, classic collab album. So it's like my first album that I'm like really paying attention to. So that's why I think it has like a big impact on me in general.
Wow.
So Yeezus is number one.
And that's crazy that you were 13, bro. I was like 16, about to turn 17 at that when Yeezus came out.
That's hilarious, bro.
Yeah,
it's funny.
I'm telling you, yo, Blake is young, man. You just turned 21.
21 in July.
That's crazy, man. I'm about to turn 24 in December.
Really?
Yeah, bro.
Wow, that's just what day?
10th.
Okay.
December 10th, 1996.
Oh wow, that's crazy. I didn't know that.
Man.
24?
Yeah.
That's what's up, man.
Yeah, man.
Wow, that's crazy. Yeah, man.
24.
21. Yeah, I was 13 when that came out, man.
That's
and
crazy.
then my second favorite album of all time is a complete opposite, and it's Wu-Tang 36 Chambers.
Okay.
And that's because that album really taught me how to rap. Because before I was when I was like messing around my brother's laptop, trying to produce, I would just mess around and like start writing stuff. just like start writing raps. And I was trying to figure out like who I sounded like, and me just being young, like obviously I should have just been listening to like more Kanye around this time because that's who I can pick up stuff from.
Right.
So I was just going around like listening to like just a whole bunch of people, man, like trying to sound like Kendrick, like it just, shit just wasn't working.
Yeah.
And then somehow I started listening to Wu-Tang. And I think it's because like everybody knows what Cream is, you know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Everybody knows that song. But they had put it on like 2K15, 2K16. I was like, okay, I need to actually listen to Wu-Tang because every time I search up top 10 rap albums, this album is always there.
Yeah.
So, okay, let me listen. I was like, whoa, like
You see why?
this is crazy. Like oh man, I love that's really like my second favorite album of all time, and the Jizz specifically definitely taught me like how to rap because he used to come in last verse of the song, and just come in and just destroy, like close out. He was like a closer. You know what I'm saying?
Yo, Jizz is dope with Liquid Swords. I used to listen to that back in high school. That album
was crazy,
man.
bro. Every time I can't find inspiration, and it might not even come after listening to the album, but I'll go and listen to that just to remind myself, like, okay, I need to do this, I need to do that. You know what I'm saying? Just like certain things like that, because I really picked up a lot of stuff from them. And I want to talk about 2 more albums real quick.
Okay.
Third favorite album of all time is definitely Igor from Tyler that he dropped last year, and that's because
that's more recent.
and that's because it's very similar to Yeezus in my mind, as far as the same type of synths that they use. Very electronic. That's the word that I forgot to use for Yeezus. Yeezus is a very electronic album, and I think that's why a lot of people didn't like it. Because niggas is used to listening to sample, old school Kanye, you know, things like that. Like I was talking to my friend about this the other day, and him and Jay-Z came out with Watch the Throne, and then the next album that Kanye decides to drop is Yeezus. Like that's a crazy switch.
Yeah.
Because Watch the Throne is just like a really old school, like modern album.
It's like classic rap.
Yeah, combined. You know what I'm saying? Because you got Otis, you got Gotta Have It. You got Prime Time, Lift Off, all these songs on there, and then you just come out with Yeezus, like that's completely different. You know what I'm saying? It's because it's electronic. It has a lot of sounds that rappers and producers don't usually use that much. That's why I like Igor so much, because it has a lot of those sounds, and I love how Tyler was just playing around with his voice a lot, making it higher, and he's been doing that for a while. But he just had like full songs on there where his voice would be all the way high pitched, and I thought that was dope. Not using his regular voice. So that's definitely my third. I could talk about that album for way longer if I had to, because I could really break that down. That album is crazy. And then album that I'll talk about briefly is To Pimp a Butterfly is one of my favorite albums of all time. I think that's one of the best rap albums of all time, to be honest. I've never heard such like great like jazz and neo soul production like used in rap so much. But I want to talk about In Search Of by NERD real fast.
Okay.
Like I said, NERD is Pharrell's band, if anybody doesn't know, and that album came out in 2001, and that's something that I listened to with my brother in the car all the time. Like he had that CD. I don't know if he burned it to his, you know, his disc on some, like, you know how people used to do that.
Right,
like,
back in the day.
Yeah, I still do that. I still do that to this day.
Yeah.
But he used to play that all the time, bro, and I love that album. Like that's really when it comes to like listening to, I guess, like alternative music or anything on that side of alternative rock related and things like that. That album is crazy. Like it's crazy that Pharrell and the Neptunes and then the other person, I think his name is Shay Haley, that they came together and they just really made like a whole almost rock album. After the Neptunes is out here making songs for Britney. Well, that's not a good example, but they did make songs for Britney Spears. But they made a whole rock album after making songs for ODB, Jay-Z, Busta Rhymes, and they go and make that. Like that's just crazy to me. But I love that album to death, man. I listen to that album frequently, and it definitely has a lot of inspiration to like newer music that will be coming out, things like Stand By. But yeah, man, shout out to those albums. I would not be making any type of the music that I'm making without those, for sure.
Word, man. Well, I'm glad you got to, you were able to explain that and talk about some of your inspirations and whatnot.
Yeezus, man.
Yes.
Yeezus.
So now we about to get into my pick.
Let's do it.
One of the tracks that I was really feeling off of your tape. I really vary with what's like my favorite song. But right now, Good Evening is my favorite song. So you want to introduce that for the people?
Yeah, man. Good Evening is, I believe that's the 7th maybe
Yep.
it's
Yep.
yeah,
No, the six. The six.
Yeah,
The six.
6 track on there. I don't have corona, by the way. After that cough, I'm just letting people know.
Yeah.
Good Evening is based off of Drive Slow.
Okay.
From Kanye.
Okay.
That's kind of, the bass line is very similar. I was making this song in my room where I used to live in Queens. There's other places I used to live, and I found the sample, chopped it up real quick. And then I was trying to figure out like a bass line. I gotta make it like real simple. It can't be anything too crazy because the beat is like very smooth. And I was like, okay, Drive Slow instantly, and it has a very similar bass line to Drive Slow. And then a lot of the rapping in there is a lot of like, if you listen to it now, maybe you'll be able to hear it, but a lot of like Rick Ross influence in there as well.
Alright.
And I did that like, that's just like it's really unconscious at this point, like rapping like that just from listening to him so much, but it definitely shows up a lot in that song for sure.
Word.
Facts.
Word.
Good
All
Evening.
right. Well, let's get into it. This is
Sir.
Good Evening. This is a 6-track off of his tape One Love. So let's get into it.
Haven't heard this in a minute.
I done switch like switch seasons. Now they wanna flake on the kid. What's the reason? Breathing. I'm the type of nigga you believe in. If you don't respect that, I'm leaving. Good evening. I done switch like switch seasons. Now they wanna hate on the kid. What's the reason? I'm the type of nigga you believe in. If you don't respect that, I'm leaving. Good evening. Nah, he ain't big, he ain't pop, he close. Tell me why I got the whole game by the rope. And tell me why I never been shut down for letdowns. And tell me why them niggas never put me down. See, I was speeding back on Kimball Bridge. Now I'm back in New York, about to lose my shit. And I had the black suit with the champagne poppin'. CD on blast, get them niggas heads rockin'. And I don't sip Douce or Cristal. I sit at the crib and drink Kool-Aid and think about how I'ma colonize the game and put it on for my real last name. But them niggas, they don't feel that. Niggas get the heels back till I run game, then them niggas know the real facts. And I stretch work like dominoes, moving like a pro, nigga, now you know. I done switch like switch seasons. Now they wanna flake on the kid, what's the reason? Breathing. I'm the type of nigga you believe in. If you don't respect that, I'm leaving. Good evening. I done switch like switch seasons. Now they wanna hate on the kid, what's the reason? I'm the type of nigga you believe in. If you don't respect that, I'm leaving. Good evening. They say, Blake, what's your plan? Selling out shows, maybe get a range with some hardwood flows, maybe cop a coupe with some suicide doors, then cop some ice cause I'm feeling real cold. Then I might go back home and sell out the dome and get everything that I own. And maybe then I get what I deserve, and maybe then I pull up out the curb. Nigga, what you heard? I ain't never cooked crack on the stove. I ain't never had a Cadillac that be sitting real low, but I know how it feels to wake up, be the man, and be the first nigga getting bread for the fam. A nigga like me, love the game, and these niggas gon' see that I came with the aim. Came in the lane with the God-given talent. If I let you run game, nigga, that's allowance for real. I switch like switch seasons. Now they wanna flake on the kid, what's the reason? Breathing. I'm the type of nigga you believe in. If you don't respect that, I'm leaving. Good evening. I done switch like switch seasons. Now they wanna hate on the kid, what's the reason? I'm the type of nigga you believe in. If you don't respect that, I'm leaving. Good evening.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. That's crazy.
That song is hilarious to me now because I'm listening to it. I'm like, damn, I was rapping like extra aggressive on there. Like, I don't even know. Like, I wish I could remember like why I was rapping like that back when I was doing that, because that is hilarious, bro. That was crazy. I can't believe I was rapping that aggressive in there. That's too funny. But nah, those lines. I'm glad that we went back and listened to that.
Word.
Because I don't like it comes from Jay-Z, but like, I don't write down like my any of my songs, and I think that I don't even like really say that to brag, but it's just more on the fact that it really helps to it really helps me like creatively to like say things that I would not think about like writing down, because if I'm writing down, then I kind of got to be specific about like what I'm not be specific, but like I'm kind of just like trying to find something that rhymes with this, or maybe I'm actually trying to put in wordplay. You know what I'm saying? Like things like that. So when I'm freestyling, like I'm just saying whatever. Word. And now I'm glad we listened to that, because I need to go back and listen to some Jay-Z when I get back in my car.
Word.
Because I have been BSing on making a lot of new songs lately, and that's gonna help me out, because I was listening to some of the lines that I said in there, and I just can't believe I was rapping that aggressive. Like, that's crazy. Like, I sound mad as shit. That's funny. But I said, I'm gonna colonize the game and put it on for my real last name, because my real last name is Christopher. So like Christopher Columbus colonized the game, whatever. But like that shit is funny to me, because it's just like, damn, I don't even know like how I came up with that. Like, that's just hilarious. That's just from shout out to Jay-Z, man. Word. Greatest rapper of all time. And me and my friend had an argument about this the other day, and I would die on that stand, because there is nobody better than that nigga Jay-Z, man. But a lot of those flows did come. A lot of the way that I sounded in that song did come from Rick Ross a lot. Like doubling up the words that I was saying. If you hear it at the end of my lines, there's like 4 versions of me just yelling in the background. Word. But yeah, man, Jay-Z definitely had a lot to do with that whole project, just talking about like certain things, just the way that Jay-Z raps in general. And I noticed that on this song, because especially that first verse, a lot of the lines and verses that I was saying were kind of long. Right. Jay-Z has, my brother kind of broke this down for me too, that when Jay-Z raps, if you listen to him, his bars and his lines are very like elongated, super like Kanye's. I'll do it like this real quick. Kanye doesn't rap. Kanye has shorter lines than Jay-Z. Right. In terms of like bars, like Kanye kind of like Kanye's like kind of like talking to you, and he's kind of just like talking shit to you, and it's so dope to hear him like be doing that. Yeah. But like Jay-Z will just like Jay-Z literally like talks like he's having a conversation, and then he just makes it rhyme. On some smooth shit. Yeah, like I feel like Jay-Z raps in paragraphs and Kanye raps in sentences, and that's how I look at it. And that's kind of what I took from Jay-Z. If this was a different time, like I would love to like, because there's a certain song in my head that Jay-Z did this shit on. It's the Bounce. By the way, Blueprint 2, both verses. There's certain lines in there where he does that a lot. And that's kind of like where I took that from in that song. Just having like super long ass lines, so you could just say a whole bunch of cool shit in there. Yeah.
Word, man. Word. Well, thank you, man, for coming on the first episode of the Y Podcast.
Yes, sir.
We had to make it happen, man.
We did, man.
We had to make it happen, yo.
We did.
I'm telling you, this was like over a year in planning of just like
it's been a minute.
With the article write-up at Record Park, and then just trying to get like the financial stuff right. Get my LLC, Cornbread Media,
yes,
up
sir.
and off the ground.
Yes, sir.
And then with the Y Podcast, like this creative stuff, it takes time, man. So,
it does. It's not easy, bro. It's not easy. So anybody out there who's, really wants to do it, like for real, keep doing it, because if you don't, and you end up doing something else, you're not going to be happy with what you're doing. Because I don't have a problem with my music, like in terms of me not getting on yet, because I know I've made some hard ass songs. I don't necessarily like all my stuff just from being me, but I know as far as like production goes, my production is crazy. Like I love my beats to death, and I would definitely like defend it any time. But I don't have a problem with not getting to where I need to be, because I love making music. So I could get denied 500 times, and I don't care, because I know that it's gonna work out. Because that's what I want to do. Right. You know what I mean? And a lot of the greats, Jay-Z, Kanye, Kendrick, even Eminem, like they didn't even get on until they were like 26, 25, right. You know what I mean? Right, so like that stuff doesn't, it doesn't bother me. So like if you want to do creative things and you feel like it's going to take a long time or whatever, you won't even think about like timing when you're doing it. You're just going to be doing it because you love to do it. Because I mean, that's just how it goes. You know what I mean? Word, man. And with that said, I got a gift for you.
Right here. Gift? So this is
Oh, this is hard.
yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
this
yeah.
is crazy.
Yeah.
I don't know if they'll be able to see this.
Nah, they gonna see it.
They
I'm
will
gonna
see
post
it?
it on Instagram.
Bro.
But so pretty much what I do
Ooh,
with
that's tough.
each episode is that we're gonna
Oh.
take like throwback pictures for the Y podcast.
Oh, that's hard.
So you want to explain? I mean, you kind of already explained a little bit with
Yeah.
the Mike Vick.
No, that's dope to see this
but-
like on the actual like
Yeah,
piece
bro.
of paper. Like, so they're gonna see this picture?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So this is me. I want to say this is kindergarten.
Okay.
I got this Mike Vick jersey on, and it's funny because I had a white Mike Vick jersey in kindergarten, and I had left it on the playground one time at recess because it was hot as shit, and I took it off. My dad always made me wear T-shirts,
Yeah.
and it's funny because I used to hate that, and now like I wear T-shirts on all my clothes. It's just funny. But I was hot. I took out the Michael Vick jersey and I left it there, and I got a new one, and this is the jersey. This is the newer, like the newer one that I have.
Word.
But yeah, this is kindergarten. I got a turtleneck on, which is dope. I
Yeah,
used to hate
yeah.
turtlenecks. Now I love wearing turtlenecks.
Facts.
So I think there's only like 3 black kids in this class, which is
Okay.
also very dope because I grew up, like I said, in a mainly like white area.
Yeah. A suburb outside of Atlanta, right?
Yeah,
What's it
fact.
called?
It's called Alpharetta.
Alpharetta. Okay.
Yeah. So that's dope to like, cause in this picture you can see like the other black kids head kind of, and this
Yeah,
Indian
cut off.
girl up here. Yeah, but it's cool cause like I don't know, it kind of just shows that even I guess even if you do involve him, just like where I grew up in, you know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Right,
So this picture is dope, man. Seeing this Michael Vick jersey, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Cause this is like the exact same time where I was talking about before, writing stories in kindergarten and first grade, just about being a quarterback and stuff like that. I
Hell
think
yeah, man.
this might be on the cover of the tape. I'm not sure,
Okay.
but this is I love this picture. It's a dope picture. It's one of my favorite pictures of myself.
Word.
Yeah,
Man.
that's crazy.
So you want to give out your socials and everything so people could know where to follow you and
Yeah,
stuff like
man.
that. Keep up with your music.
Follow me on Instagram, Twitter, SoundCloud. Damn. Oh, damn. We didn't get to talk about SoundCloud today.
We gonna get to it, man.
Yeah, we're gonna talk. I'm gonna be back. Yeah.
We got more interviews coming, bro. This is only the beginning.
Yeah, that's a fact. Literally everywhere though. Blake Breeze on all streaming platforms.
Word.
Let's see. And I got some new music coming out soon. Maybe a new project coming soon. I'm not sure. But I definitely have a couple more songs coming out before the end of October. But yeah, Blake Breeze on all social media platforms. Facts. That's all I
Word.
got, man.
Yeah, and
Nice,
that's
dope.
this is it, man. This is the first episode of the Y Podcast.
I produce all my own music, and if it's not 100% produced by me, it's produced by shout out Wiz Kelly, shout out Holy Rain.
Shout
They're
out.
on some of my songs. Holy Rain and Wiz Kelly mixed "Welcome to My Life" on that project,
Okay.
and they're both on Check-In too on that project as well. They're both the 2 people talking on there.
Okay.
But yeah, shout out to them, man. But I'm sorry, man. Continue.
Nah.
Yeah.
Shout out Heartbox.
Facts. Shout out
Heartbox Records.
Yes, sir.
And
LLC as
yes,
well.
sir.
Yes, sir.
And this has been the first episode of the Y Podcast. This is your boy Young Cornbread,
Blake Breeze.
and we out of here.